name's Lizza Monet Morales, otherwise known as XOXO Liza with two Z's, please. And I'm an actor, a TV host, and a content creator in both English and Spanish. So that's an interesting question. I would say I first fell in love with entertaining and storytelling when I was 2. I had my first actual show when I was 10. So that was definitely like my first start there, and I thought this was fantastic and I loved it. It was called One to One with Liza, where I interviewed politicians, celebrities in LA. And I was really frustrated with the fact that I thought that television, anytime I saw any programming for children, they were speaking at us instead of to us. So for me, that really inspired me to say, well, I want something different. And my mom challenged me and said, if you want something different, don't just talk about it, create it. So that's actually what I did. And that was a fantastic experience. But somehow in my head, I equated the fact that I couldn't actually get paid to do what I loved to do, which, as I was saying, was loving storytelling. So the other thing that I also was very passionate about was politics. And I ended up pursuing that route through school. I was a pre-law major. I minored in political science. I double minored in economics and Japanese. During that time, I also got my master's in broadcast journalism. So I still wanted to dip my toe into storytelling, but didn't actually give myself the permission. And really, it's because of societal pressures, right? That I was going to be the first person in my college or family to go to college. So how dare I think I would want to act or I would want to tell stories? I needed to do something traditional. So that was a huge journey for me, going through college and doing that, and then coming out and realizing, okay, I fit the bill. I did all these things that you're asking, but I'm still not genuinely intrinsically happy. I know I can serve the world in a bigger way, in a bigger platform. And that's actually why I started turning to social media. So I was already on TV, and there was this little thing called Twitter that came out, and I thought, you know what, I want to share what my thoughts of the day are. I want to share if I'm in Guatemala. Now, mind you, this is before anybody was doing this. I found this really cool bag in Guatemala. I want people to see what this looks like. So I'm just going to try it. No one's done it, but one thing that I've learned is the word try can sometimes keep us from actually exceeding and superseding even expectations we set on ourselves, right? So one thing I always tell people is to put themselves on a word diet, because when you actually use words like try or lucky, can't, won't, there's certain words that you use in your vernacular that actually restricts you before you even get started. So I challenged myself, you know what, I know no one's done this before, so that means I actually have nothing to lose. I can do it, and if in doing it, it moves me forward, great. And if in doing it, it doesn't, at least I'll know. That's the biggest difference. So that's a huge mantra that I actually continue to live by today in my life. So I started using social, and then next thing you know, my stuff started going, what the new term was, viral. And then from there on, I just started creating this community on a very global platform that then started reaching out to me and saying, hey, it's really great that you're sharing on Facebook or on Twitter that you're going to be on TV, or you're making this appearance here, or you found this, awesome bag even in Mexico, or this really cute spot, because I love tacos, in LA to go check out tacos. But can you put them all on a blog or something? And I thought, wow, that was a huge aha moment. So this last December, I actually celebrated 8 years since my blog started. And I'm like, wait, I'm not a mom. So when back in the day, the mommy mafia was really big, right? So I told my team, I'm like, is this okay if I do this? Because I'm actually not a mom. And they're like, no. People that aren't moms are starting it. What do you have to lose? And I thought, you know what? You're right. Let me challenge myself again to do something that I don't necessarily feel comfortable with. I don't know what the path is, but I'm just going to create it. And that's the biggest tip I would share, is that sometimes the path isn't there. The onus is on you to create that path. But here's the thing, when you're a trendsetter and when you're really kind of ahead of the game and an early adopter, you end up reaping a lot of the benefits, because then you actually start creating the way that others use the particular app, let's say with Twitter. So now thought of the day has become a big thing. Showing what's in your bag has become a big thing. If you're on Periscope or you're on any live platform, showing what's in your fridge, telling people where you're from, doing roll call, that's been a big thing. And I remember I was one of the first people that did all of these things I'm listing. So to know that I actually had a way of leaving a footprint on the bigger scheme of things is also really satisfying. So I always ask myself, when I am taking these risks, if I were to succeed, what will that look like, and will that be satisfactory to me, or will I be amazed, right? So when I know and I really sit in that, and I'm like, well, this would be cool if other people get inspired to do this. All right, you know what? That's actually going to motivate me to step up and step further into this choice, as opposed to just staying comfortable and staying complacent. Major key tip that I would tell you when you're actually sitting there asking yourself, can I do this? Should I do this? Oh my goodness, I'm not happy with the way that my life is. Here's the thing. Remember, You're not a tree, you don't have roots, you can move. That's the one thing that people don't ever like remind themselves enough. They get caught up into what I like to call the golden handcuffs because it's a nice job or they feel they have kids and they're like, oh my God, it's limits, limits, limits. Then this means my life is over and now it's just woulda, coulda, shoulda, and I'm not gonna do what I actually wanna do. That's where you have to stop yourself and stop the insanity and sit there and say, actually, this is what I wanna do. I'm gonna actually have the courage and bravery to stand up for myself because the world needs the message that you have, for one. And two, if you're a mom or a dad, that is the best way you can show your children that going for what you want is actually something you could do regardless of age. It's never too late to start, but it is too late to regret. So if you actually end up going to your deathbed with regrets of actually not doing something, I swear to you, these words will ring to you. You'll be like, you know what? She was right. I'm not a tree. I actually can move. We have the ability of picking up ourselves and moving. Now, it doesn't have to be permanent. There's things called like the remote year where you could even take a year off. You could work remotely and travel the world. You could just do even a month. Just check out what that looks like. Put yourself in someone else's shoes so that you, much like I say that I see the world through left field eyes, it gives you a new perspective on life and it actually challenges you to challenge your own status quo because we get so caught up in what we believe that that's actually the truth. And when you challenge yourself, you actually make a mental shift and new doors open and you realize, oh, that was just a belief. It doesn't always have to be that way. Just because I was born poor doesn't mean I end up poor. And just because I'm born rich doesn't mean I'm not gonna have problems, right? So the challenge I give myself and where I find the courage, if you will, is to know that one day I'm no longer gonna be able to get up and wake up. One day I'm actually gonna be 6 feet underground or be cremated, one of the two. But being able to do this and just take a breath isn't going to be a gift that I have for infinity. So while I have the opportunity to take breath, I want to maximize that opportunity in order to put breath into the world and leave a legacy that inspires others in a way that's bigger than me, in a way that's bigger than this message, right, of taking courage, but that actually leaves an impact to future generations to say, hey, if she could do it, I could do it too. I didn't need to have money. I didn't need to be hooked up. I didn't need to have like a mom or a dad, you know, run for an election or buy a company or buy a building. I actually was able to do this with my own merit. So that honestly is what really inspires me, and I'm very blessed with an amazing community, Love Bug Nation, around the world who on the daily tell me how I've inspired them to take small actions and what I like to call inspired actions forward in order to actually follow their dreams and turn them into reality as opposed to just wishing and hoping that it will happen. So I would just encourage you, don't be one of the ones who says woulda, coulda, shoulda. Instead, be one of the ones that said, I can and I will. I have a whole system of how I hack my day, if you will, in order to make me not only productive, but also bring sanity to my life. So if you follow me at all, I'm XOXO Lizza with 2 Z's, please, on all things social. So everything from Snapchat to Periscope to Instagram stories to Facebook Live to Busker, you know, all the things. And I'm very active on all of them. And so a lot of times people will ask like, oh my gosh, how do you do that and not lose your sanity? So I do have a very structured way of my day of like, what are the 5 things today that I need to do to feel successful, right? So I break this down fully in my book, but what I will say from here that I take away from that is having structure, having some sort of morning routine is the #1 key to success. If you interview or speak to any billionaire or any millionaire, they will tell you that their morning routine is everything. So everything from Oprah to Anthony Robbins, like they will really kind of walk through that. And what I found really interesting is a millionaire will look at their, I like to call it a success list because it's targeted action that you have to do as opposed to just a to-do list. They'll look at their success list 2 to 3 times a day. A billionaire will look at it 5 to 8 times a day. The average person doesn't even have a list, which is why they live an average life. So the choice is up to you, right? What kind of life do you want to live? So once you actually know and can make the plan, you can work the plan. But it starts with you actually, before you can work that plan, you actually have to make that plan. So the biggest thing is prepare yourself for that. Also figure out every day how to fill your own well. So, you know, take 10 minutes to read a book that provides you inspiration. Take 10 minutes to learn a new language. Take 10 minutes to learn a new skill. Let's see what Google Analytics looks like, right? So if every day you're kind of just hacking, just putting on a little bit more, think about it. How many days in the year do we have? 356, right? So in doing that, how much time you start learning, if you just make that little increment of time for yourself, by the end of the year, which is gonna go by whether you do this or not, you'll actually have gained a new skill. So why is it important in terms of what I do? Well, the reason that is important is because it's usually what keeps me ahead. I always have a vision of where I need to go, but I also stay in the now of where I'm at and what do I need to do in order to continue to advance me forward. So by focusing on those things, if there's a brand that I like, I'm like, okay, great, let me reach out to them on Twitter and let me actually tell them how I organically already like them. Let me create some content for them and show them an example of what that looks like, right? So I'll be the first one to step up and step out to show someone what that looks like in terms of collaboration. And once you're really focused on the work, you then have examples where your work speaks for yourself. You don't necessarily even have to go out and pitch as much, right? Like, so now I have them pitching me and I get to decide yes, no, what makes sense. But third to that, I would also say, be very clear about what your own specific brand is. Once you know you're black and you're white, there is no gray. What I do see is a lot of influencers and a lot of people even starting is that they get so caught up in keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with what I'm doing or other people are doing, and they're trying to like copy our thing, that they lose who they are and they lose the authenticity that they can bring to the game. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, there's room for all of us to succeed. So when you come from a place of authenticity, when you come from a place of love, and when you come from a place of abundance, you don't actually have to worry about competition or scarcity or think, oh my God, I'm gonna run out of opportunities. You're not, you're actually gonna create them for yourself. So oftentimes people get so shocked, they're like, how did you do that? Or that's so crazy, like what is that? Well, it was something that I thought of. Like I used my brain to be creative of something that I thought would be of benefit to my community first and foremost, to the brand that I already organically was drawn to, and then ultimately, of course, to me, because I do have to pay the bills, right? But as opposed to lining myself up with what everybody else is doing, I go back to my grandmother with one thing she used to always tell me is don't fight for a piece of the pie from someone else's pie. You're Latin. Make your own pie. You got this. You don't need to rely on anybody else. So that's something that I really focus on, and I would really encourage others to do it as well. So honestly, I have a book that's coming out later this year. So it's called #Classy Chingona. So it's teaching women and also even men how to step up into their own light and be the power Latino or power woman that they're meant to be when we're in negotiation. So if all goes well, it should be out for Christmas, which I'm super excited about. Also, you can follow the #Classy Chingona, and you can also use it yourself. Here's the thing, for a lot of people, they may say, oh my God, what does Chingona mean and what does that have? It has an interesting connotation. So in English, a lot of people think it's like, oh, that's like a badass. It is a badass. It's a woman without apology, and it's a way to embrace the word. It's definitely the Mexican vernacular in terms of Spanish. But what I love is that just kind of like the other book that came out, Girl Boss, which I love. I was really inspired by that because that's kind of what we are in the Latino community. And I didn't think that there was something for Latinas that empowered them in that way, that embraces both our culture, because also in our culture, as good as we are about promoting outward beauty, we're not really good about promoting inward beauty. And we also are not very good about promoting women having their own voice, right? So there's a saying in Spanish, que te ves más bonita si te quedas calladita, which means you look prettier if you stay quiet. I'm over that saying. That's not how this works. You know, it's 2017. We got to roll in a bigger way. We actually have to bring voice to causes, like things that are taking our communities down. And the only way we do that is if we unite together and start using our voices and teach girls at a very young age that sexy is actually being smart. Growing up, I was very blessed with an amazing mom and grandmother who both, after my parents got divorced, really made it their focus to teach me old school as much as new school traditions. And I think that that's really important for the modern day Latina in particular, to be able to mesh, knowing how to be super classy, whether you're speaking to the president, whether you're speaking to the Dalai Lama, which I've had the blessing of being able to do, or you're speaking to your gardener or someone that's making tacos for you and you just kind of want to hang out with them, right? You need to know how to handle yourself in all these situations. But at the same time, if someone's coming for you and they're coming after your dreams, they're putting you down, they're bullying you, whether that's negative relationships or physically causing damage to you, you need to also be able to be the chingona and step into your light and be like, no, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm actually going to stand up for myself and for my beliefs, because if I don't do it, who will? So that's really what the book is looking to encourage. I'll be doing a series of women empowerment events with that. So that hopefully hopefully it'll be the end of the year. Up until then, we have a first one that's actually going to come out before that. I'm one of 9 authors. That's a collaborative book, and that's Latina Leadership Through Empowerment. So that should be out this summer. Until then, I have a couple of fun trips coming up, which will be kind of fun. And then I'm doing my first TEDx talk. So that's pretty exciting at the end of the year. So yeah, so it's just, you kind of have to keep on the horizon. My other hashtag is Liza on the go, because I'm constantly on the go. So I will catch you guys on my next adventure. Definitely let me know what you guys are up to. If there's something you want to see or have a question for me, you can feel free to reach out at XOXOLiza with 2 Z's, please.